So we are going to begin our ritual, our council of all beings. And so a reminder to the families with children that we're not doing a story. They are welcome to stay or can make their way to childcare or playtime whenever they would like. The wonderful indigenous elder and Western-trained botanist Robin Wall Kimmerer said that one of her watershed moments in life came when she realized that in her career as a scientist, she was, and I quote, teaching the names and ignoring the songs of the plants. She realized that she indeed was missing something. So today we're going to share in an opportunity to listen more deeply to the songs of the plants and the rocks and the animals and the water and the air, all beings and all elements of our world. When I first heard about this thing called a council of all beings, I thought, what a wonderful idea. Wouldn't it be amazing if there was a United Nations that truly had the nations of all beings represented, right? Imagine a room where the water and the air and the plants and the trees and every animal species sat in a circle. Imagine how different the policies of this earth would be if that was the case. Well, this morning is our very small, humble attempt today to give voice and to listen as a council of all beings. The ritual we share today is an adaptation of a ritual created in 1985 by Joanna Macy. Some of you may have heard of her. And a man named John Seed. Joanna was in Australia doing workshops on social and environmental activism, and John Seed was the founder of the Rainforest Information Center there. After one session, John took Joanna to one of the last vestiges of Australia's primordial forest, saved from the timber companies by blockades mounted by John and his other fellow local protesters. As Buddhists, they both resonated with the core teachings of interconnectedness and realized they wanted to create a workshop that gave people the experience of interconnected listening. So together that day, they invented the Council of All Beings. Now, in its full form, it is a whole weekend workshop. So you can tell this morning in the next half hour, we're just going to get a tiny taste of this. And maybe someday we as a community decide we want to host a weekend-long event. Joanna Macy is now 93 years old. If you do not know her, I encourage you to look her up. She is still a vibrant, wonderful teacher and has deep care for our relationships with all on the planet. So let us begin. I'm going to begin by calling in our ancestors to be with us today. If you'd like to close your eyes, feel free to close your eyes for a moment so that you can visualize the ancestors with whom you feel a connection. And we invite those ancestors of each and every being here with us, each and every being online, and each and every being on the planet, as they feel welcome to be with us in this ritual so that we may hear their wisdom. And we also invite into this ritual today those who we will be their ancestors someday. Someday others will look back upon us as their ancestors. What will they say of us? And will they call us in and invite our wisdom? And if so, what will that be? So together here in our own presence, we invite our ancestors and our descendants to join us in this ritual. Now, on our table, we have several bowls. The large bowl is representative of the earth and all of its creatures, each light representing a different species. Obviously, it is a representation. We also have a bowl of water, and the third bowl here appears to be empty, but it contains that precious element of air. These are the gifts we have inherited at our birth: the gift of companionship from other creatures, of earth, of fire, of water, and of air, but we have not been good companions to all of these. Human activity has caused the permanent loss of so much on this planet. Joanne Macy felt that it was imperative that before we begin the council that we take time to grieve. She says that without that time of grieving, it is not a true council because we must first acknowledge what is lost. So here in this part of our ritual, we too will acknowledge what is lost. Jeff, not yet. Human activity has caused the permanent loss of so much on the planet. Through pollution, hunting, and habitat destruction, humans have been the cause of the extinction of many animals. And I'm going to invite us to watch this short video. Animals are gone forever. We do not get these animals back. It is estimated that 571 plant species have gone extinct in the past 200 years. We do not get these precious plants back. 60 insect species have gone extinct, and more than 40% of insect species are declining. A third are currently endangered. We do not get these back. Deforestation is like a cancer to the very lungs of the planet. The earth has lost more than 1 billion acres of forest between 1960 and 2019. We do not get this back. The earth has lost half of its coral reefs. We may not get them back. Soil erosion, glacier loss, polluted drinking water, and poor air quality are causing illness and death in all creatures. We may not get it back. Humanity has wiped out the populations of 60% of mammals, birds, fish, and reptiles since 1970. leading to the world's foremost experts to warn that the annihilation of wildlife is now an emergency that threatens civilization. We do not get these animals back. I'm going to invite you to just view our table. Jeffrey, we're leaving some things still lit. Thank you. But too much has gone lost. So I'm going to invite you to take a moment and look at the table. The so many lights that have already been lost. There is so much to grieve. The pictures that we saw, the animals that will not return, the deforestation, the oceans, the pollution. Unless we take a moment to feel the effects of that, I fear that we will not change. So I'm going to invite you now, if you feel so moved that you are grieving something, a loss, feel free to stand up or just speak from your chair to speak what it is that you grieve in the loss. Yes, please.
I would like you to pretend that you can see that I'm in a wolf costume, or if you prefer, that I'm a wolf in a human costume. And we've been known to do that, of course, for the sheep. I brought with me my nephew. I'm a wolf from the Chernobyl wolf pack, and that is an area of 1,000 square miles that has been made completely off limits to any human beings because of the radiation hazard. And over the past 10 decades, the wildlife has returned. We have deer, muskrats, rabbits, moles, porcupines, and yes, even us wolves. And the interesting thing is, what do we see here? Apparently human beings are more dangerous to the wildlife and their ecosystem than high levels of radiation are.
Thank you, Wolf. We will be having a moment later in our service where all beings will have the opportunity to speak. So thank you for that, Wolf. And also right now, speaking to the humans among us, I'd love to hear, what are you grieving? Please give some voice. Who is missing the coral reefs? Speak up, please.
The Amazon.
The Amazon. What else? The water, the cleanliness of the water. What else grieves you when you see? Rich?
Flying insects.
Flying insects are declining. The bees are declining. What else?
There used to be coral reefs in Cancun, but they're very scarce now.
Coral reefs that are scarce now. What else? Peggy?
In the last 3 years, 2,500 manatees have died in Florida because of the polluted waters. They only eat grass at the bottom of the rivers, and the grass can't grow now because the waters are so polluted.
We are losing our manatees. Please. The southern Florida cougar. Karen. Monarch butterflies. Karen. Butterflies. Yeah. Way more butterflies in general. So many more butterflies. Yes, over here. And then we'll come over here.
Coyote, well, they're coming out because we're building so many houses.
Yeah.
And we're taking away their sacred land.
The loss of habitat. Jonathan, we'll come back to you, but let's go to
18,000 dairy cows died in an explosion and fire in Texas just the other day. And they were crammed into a milking lot. And 18,000 is just an unbelievable number.
wow, thank you for sharing that. Jeff.
The forest to the Amazon,
The Amazon.
and other places.
Let's go back. Jonathan had his hand up. And I think and I don't want you just to hear the words as we're doing some report for school. I want you to feel it.
As of 2020, the pangolin in Asia is the most trafficked animal in the world because people use their scales
Trafficked animals.
for like medical purposes or for like meat or whatnot. It's sad.
So we're going to go one or two more, and then we're going to take a moment.
I'm just grieving the lack of compassion that humanity seems to have of all of these things being lost.
The loss. So there's so much more, and I'm going to invite you to take a moment in silence. If closing your eyes is the way you like to do that, please do. Just take a moment, and I really invite you to feel. Some of the candles on our table are out. They're not going to be relit. Feel the loss, the grief, the anger at the loss. Take a moment. The chalice is dry, not a drop in it. The oceans are dense with oil, the rivers are filled with chemicals, the forests are barren and dry. The people are walking with hooded faces. The wind has a rancid smell, the carcasses of animals rot on the road. There are no vultures to feed on them. The meetings don't stop, nor does the talking, while the clock keeps ticking away. Take a breath. Allow yourself to feel the grief and the anger as it is real. And I invite you in your own homes, in whatever way you want to create an altar, to keep this in your mind, not to be afraid to grieve, because hopefully grief is what spurs us into action. And Joanna Macy felt like it was always important to start these rituals with grief, but then she said there's a great turning. And she's been talking about the turning for decades. And it is the turning where we make a shift from thinking we know the wisdom of all things and can decide, and we begin, like Robin did, to know that we need to listen to the song, to listen to the words of other beings, and that's what this ritual is all about. I'm going to invite you now to go on a drum journey. You may or may not have done this before. It's a meditation, it's a visualization. So I'll invite you to close your eyes, I'll play the drum, and I will lead you on a visualization, and we'll see what happens. I'm hoping all of you got a little piece of paper. If you did not and you would like one, you can also write on your order of service, but if you need a paper or pencil, at the end of the visualization, I'll invite you to write something down. But if you need one before we get started, you want to just raise your hand, and maybe Mona or somebody can bring you something. Carol needs something up here, Mona, if you want Carol up here needs something. Awesome. So get comfortable in whatever way feels right for you. And I do invite you to close your eyes or have very soft eyes, and we could have some lowered lights in our sanctuary as we go on this journey together. Taking a breath. I want you to imagine yourself in your home, and walking or moving out the door of your home and going down the street. You look to your right and you see that there is a wooded area. You may not have noticed it before, but it's there. And you see a path. So you leave the paved road that you are on, the paved sidewalk. You take off your shoes, put your feet in the dirt, and begin to walk down the path. You are surrounded by trees, sun, wind. Up ahead you see a big, big tree, and so you move towards it. You see that the path is heading right into the tree, and you notice that there is an opening, so you enter into the tree. As you enter into the tree, you see before you a long set of stairs, winding stairs, so you go down the stairs, down the stairs. When you get to the bottom of the stairs, there's a large room, and on the other side of the room, you see a door. You can hear some sounds coming from the other side of the door, so you walk across the room, open the door, and walk in. As you walk into this big cathedral-like room, it looks like you are in a large field, and in the field is every animal, every insect, every bird, every plant is gathered there. And you see a stream's running right up through the middle of the gathering, and there's a path beside the stream, so you follow the path. You hear your name being called towards the front of the room, so you walk the path towards the front of the room. And when you get to the front of the room, you are directed to sit beside. No, you are directed to kneel beside a being of this earth. Kneel there now. It may be an animal or a plant or an element. Who is it that you sit beside? This being has a few things to share with you. First, they want you to know how things have been going for them in this world with which we share. So they lean in and they tell you, here's how it's been going for my clan. You listen. What do they say? What do they say? You hear this one. You look up. You see them. And then they say, I have some wisdom I'd like to give you. I would like you to take my spirit back to your people. And I'd like you to tell them this. Here's what I'd like you to tell them. And you listen. What is it that this being is telling you? You hear them, and you hold the words in your heart. Before you leave, they say they have a gift for you. You feel a little embarrassed to take a gift from them, but you hold out your hands, and they place a gift in your hand. They say, this is a gift so that you will not forget your time here. And they tell you to go back and take their spirit back with you to talk to the humans. And so you make your way back out, across the field, back out the door. You walk up the steps. And you take a step outside of the tree. Before you go down the path back to your home, you sit down, because you want to write down what it is you've been told so that you will not forget. So I'm going to invite you to do that now, to write down on your, anything you can find to write on. If you need something, raise your hand. What is the wisdom that you are asked to bring to the council you will participate in? What is the hardship they've shared with you that they wanted you to know about? What is the gift they gave you? But mainly, what is the wisdom that they are asking you to share? And take a moment to write that down. So we are going to have our own council here now. It's going to be a council where you are invited to embody and be that being who you connected with on your journey. And you are going to be invited to speak to the humans so that the humans can hear your wisdom. So first I'd like to ask for 3 volunteers to be our human representatives to come and sit here. We will all be listening, but these especially will be our listeners as the humans. So if 3 people could just come forward and sit, please. I did not ask anybody ahead of time, so if you feel so drawn, please do. Thank you. One more person, please. Perhaps a female-identified person. Anybody want to be a human? Thank you, James. All right, humans, welcome to our Council of All Beings. We have decided to gather a representation from all creatures and all beings of the earth. They have some things they would like you to know. We ask that you listen to them humbly without responding, but just listen to their words. So I now invite you, council. You are the council of all beings. What words have you received from them? What would you like the humans to know and understand? Please come forward. And if you would, if we can, if you know that you want to speak, maybe come here and let's make a line so that we can have as many speakers as possible. And I know in all these things, everyone's kind of shy to get started, but then it's going to happen, so you know you're going to want to share, so just go ahead and make a line and come on up. Who would like to go first as our council? Thank you. You can tell us who you are or who you speak for, and just please come up to this mic so we can all hear you. So please share who you are, who you speak for, and then speak to our human brothers and sisters. They need to hear. Oh, you can take a turn, but right now you're a human. Okay. Could we get a mic? Thank you.
I'm a polar bear. I'm a polar bear, and I'm up there close to the North Pole, and the ice is melting all around me, and I can't go and catch my food because I have no ice to stand on, and everything's water around me. I have to swim across all this expanse, and I get really tired, and I'm losing weight, and I might not be here very much longer. And what I want to tell you is that you see me this pitiful look. I look terrible. I'm matted, and I'm thin, and I should look like this. And my children can't survive. I can't feed them because everything's melting because of the climate that you humans are causing. And you don't understand that by killing me, you're basically killing yourselves, because you're a part of nature. You are part of us. And if you kill nature, you're killing yourself. It's the same as if you're putting a bullet through your head. So that's my message.
Thank you, Polar Bear. Thank you.
I'm a giraffe. I just love the gracefulness of giraffes. But what I need to tell the humans is that the humans need to stop all this divisiveness in this world, and we need to come together so that we can continue to thrive. And we can't thrive if we're killing not only animals, but we're killing ourselves by polluting the water and the air and the ground. So I think if we could come together, we could put our brains together and our hearts together and figure out some things to help us to thrive.
Thank you, Giraffe.
I'm a deer. I've lived in these woods, and the woods are going. Housing developments are going up. The waters are being polluted. The trees are being taken down. And what I want to say is that the humans are saying in the subdivisions and developments that the deer are overpopulated. But I think that the human race is overpopulated. And I think that as you destroy me and my habitat, you need us, and you're harming yourselves as well as us.
Thank you, dear.
I'm an Irish wolf. The Irish word for wolf is mactira, which is son of the land. As wolves are top predators, before all the wolves were taken off of Ireland, there used to be forests. Now there are just wolves in a few protected parks. They're vital to the ecosystems. They keep the ungulates under control. And that allows the bushes and trees to grow, protecting niche habitats like forest, wetlands, and scrublands, which affects everything: birds, rabbits, butterflies, insects, fish, otters, ducks, reptiles, amphibians, weasels, foxes, badgers, and raptors, and people. Thank you.
Thank you, Wolf, for joining our council.
I'm a coyote. I'm hungry. I have nowhere to go, nowhere to live. I have nowhere to be safe. I'm chased. I'm hunted. I'm blamed. I just want to eat. I just want to hunt. I just want to hunt a deer. I have to come down from the hills. And then you blame me for being in your neighborhoods, for chasing the rabbits in your yard. But I have nowhere else to go because you've taken it from me.
Thank you, Coyote.
Well, I would like to start saying thank you for the food in the winter time. I'm a bird. So, of course, the reason why you're giving me some food is because I can find my own. So, but I still appreciate the food. The one thing I want to request is that you make some windows in which I won't crash, because I can't see them. But and let's keep that air a little better. Thank you.
Thank you, Bird. Gus.
So this is Henny, and Henny had a lot to say about how Henny and all of Henny's friends, family are being treated. I don't know if you know, but especially the male chicks that aren't needed in our food production, our factory farming, they are pushed to the side into a barrel, and they crush each other, they suffocate, or they're ground up live. Henny is kept in a cage. Beak is cut, no anesthetic, because they're kept so close together. But they would normally they scratch, they peck, but they have to cut off their beak so that they can't harm each other, so they can be kept in these small spaces. And we have alternatives now. At one point it was important to maybe eat animals, but now it's not necessary. And so in Henny's words to me were, now is the time. Please look more deeply. Please look more deeply. Think of Henny's friends, not food. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Henny. I know there's probably others that want to speak in our council. Humans, thank you for listening. Did you want to speak? No, it's not a delay. I'm going to be a human for a second and let you speak.
So you can't, excuse me, you can't live without me. The earth, the living earth, cannot live without me. I'm water. I travel the earth, I rise into the sky, I pick up whatever it is that's in the air, I fall back to the earth. I used to be able to soak into the earth, move toward other bodies, and the cycle starts all over again. Now I'm welcomed with just hitting hot asphalt, metal, concrete. I can't do my job. I can't get filtered through the earth. I can't support life. Help.
Ooh, anywhere you would like. That's a powerful way to end this part. Thank you for joining us. Water and earth and fire and air and all the animals, all the plants, all the insects. I know there's many more voices to be heard. And I invite us, after we've had this just tiny little taste of this ritual, to consider whether we would like to create a longer ritual to really give voice. I will tell you, that moment I just spent sitting in there, having them talk directly at me, was really powerful. So I invite you to hear those words of other beings as you speak them. I'm going to offer these words from Thomas Berry. Thomas Berry is a Catholic priest, cultural historian, and self-described geologian. And he once said, "Our own future is inseparable from the future of the larger community that brought us into being." Our future is inseparable from the larger community that brought us into being. The human venture depends absolutely on the quality of awe and reverence and joy in the earth and all that lives and grows upon the earth. So may we continue to be good listeners of the songs of the plants and the animals as we celebrate this beautiful blue boat home. Humans, you may return. Thank you.